The reason why men hate this new generation of women so much is because we're finally starting to realize how powerful we are and how much potential we really have in this world. And the only reason we're starting to figure that out is because we finally don't give a fuck what they think. Because all they've been doing for I don't know how long is suppressing us.
We live in a society, or I should say a Western society, where words like hate can be misconstrued. It can mean a diversity of things. And basically, these words are losing their original meaning. I say that to say this. I'm really interested to find out what she defines as hate towards women of this generation. She gives no specifics or examples, but felt compelled to say what she said on TikTok as if it's the gospel truth, and followed it up with a response video because of backlash she was getting. Is she referring actually to hate, which is defined as passionate dislike for someone? Or is she referring to something else and doesn't even realize it? Could she be saying, I don't like criticism? Is it possible to hate certain things about a person, like their behavior or bad qualities, and not actually hate the person? This is almost the equivalent of saying that all men are dogs, but you don't know all men. If all men you met are dogs, or so-called dogs, what does that say about you? Is she defining criticism as hate, especially when it's constructive and beneficial to the person it's intended for? What if the criticism has nothing to do with the gender and has everything to do with an individual's behavior and decision making? This is one of the main problems. It's a us against them mentality. Men are perceived as the enemy, and this is an absolute according to people who spew this rhetoric. There's never emphasis on accountability. I suspect that she's been paying attention to the rise of content addressing issues with masculinity and femininity of this generation. Her and others are noticing the major pushback they're getting against this false claims about men. And it's obvious men are sick and tired of it, including me. Can't men have preferences in the type of woman he wants, just like women? Of course he can, and the same goes for women. This takes me back to the Blame Black Men agenda, which was prior to the 2020 presidential election, when black men were deciding to hold their vote or even entertain the idea of voting for Trump. And they got vilified for it, for simply having another preference. She assumes her perception of women empowerment is greater than former generations of women, and that this generation has been enlightened to how powerful they are and how much potential they have. So is she saying that the former generations of women weren't powerful and didn't have potential? That's what it sounds like to me. Or I guess they never tapped into their potential until now, and I guess that has to do with the patriarchy. And I wonder, are happily married women talking about the patriarchy, and are there laws oppressing women in today's society? Because if I'm not mistaken, men and women have equal rights. Once again, this comes down to what she defines as power and potential. What's her definition? She states that women finally don't give a F about what men think. So my question is, why did it take so long for these empowered women to not care about what men think? How did they come to this conscious awakening moment? It seems like she's implying that women are very impressionable and highly receptive to male influence. But I guess now that doesn't apply because they're liberated from the suppression of men. At the end of the day, this might be because of daddy issues, or can't keep a man or get a man. Maybe toxic relationships? Or the good old hate men group therapy session? Or maybe all of it combined?